Yep.
I'm not sure how you pulled you.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to use a Wysiwyg editor in our Rails project. And Wysiwyg is a short name for what you see is what you get. Those are the initials of that phrase. So Wysiwyg has been around for a long time. Wysiwyg editors, let's just go and look at the tiny MCE, which is one specific editor. And these are editors that are all written in JavaScript. That means they're all done on the client side in their browser itself. Oh, that's nice. I can't even find TinyMCE. All right, so tinymce.com. This is one of those Wysiwyg editors. And what it does is it lets you edit text on the browser side, all using these JavaScript libraries that you install on your system. So let's go look at a try it button here. And this is a Wysiwyg editor. See all these links and things up here? You've probably seen these, but I can edit. This is just a text box that will eventually be submitted. So I can edit that and I can change the text color, for instance. I want to make that red. And it actually shows up as red. So it makes it almost like a Word document editor, some type of an editor. I can place pictures in here. I can move the picture around. I can do all kinds of fun stuff. I can add a table. I can look at the actual HTML, and I don't know if there's, yeah, here's the link to HTML. This then becomes all of the data that gets sent to the server or posted from this text box. This is just a text area that gets posted to your back end in some case. And it's how your back end, your server, retrieves that and does whatever it wants with it. Okay? So we want to implement this client-side type of a Wysiwyg editor in our Rails project. And the best one out there to implement this tiny MCE, there are other Wysiwyg editors. But if you search for tiny MCE Rails, this Spolen's tiny MCE-Rails is a good gem written for Rails that implements this specific library. And it copies the JavaScript into place and sets up your text area for you, etc. And it's very easy to set up. So if you look at the directions here, it's actually also been updated fairly recently, a couple months ago. So it's maintained, which is something that's very important when you're dealing with Rails. So the first thing we do when we add a gem to our system is we modify our gem file. So we're going to take this and copy it and put it into our gem file. So that's the first thing we always do. Make sure that the gem is here. Put it with the rest of ours that we have been adding to our site. So we're going to do a tiny MCE Rails. After we edit our gem file, what's the command we need to do? That's a, no. Yep, we can do that.
It says to do step 2 before you run. Be sure to add the global group, not, oh. Sorry.
Yep, I don't have to. Trust me. So I'm going to do a bundle install. That will actually go out and get the gem from the server, store it here locally, and set it up so that I can utilize this gem now. All right, the next thing I need to do is to require this JavaScript that's going to be here. There's a lot of JavaScript because it's a Wysiwyg editor. It's a JavaScript library that has to be downloaded and installed in the browser every time they come to your page. So we do that in our assets, our JavaScript file here, application.js. This is where we modify and require different JavaScript libraries. So this is where we require the jQuery libraries and things. So I want to add a line here that says require the tiny MCE-jQuery option. And if you look at the notes, I'm going to skip this, all of this here, and go straight to the assets. So we're going to require the jQuery integration. I think that's a cleaner integration. So I'm going to copy this line basically and put it over here, which is what I did. All right. So when a page gets loaded now, that JavaScript will be loaded on every page for us, okay? Then the only thing I have to do is modify the text boxes that I want to deal with. So where are the text boxes defined? In the forms, right? In the particular form for the model that I'm playing with. So in my case, I'm going to modify my recipe form. And if I look down here, I've got a ingredients as my text area box. Okay, I want them to be able to edit that with this Wysiwyg Editor. So I need to replace that. And if I look at the documentation, it says I need to add this line. I'm going to use that information on my, instead of the text area page. Okay? And again, I skipped these three. This says use one of the following options. I used this option. You can use any of these three to get the JavaScript. Basically what it's doing is it's going to do the script command to load the TinyMCE JavaScript library into my browser. All right, so I'm going to take this text area. I'm going to replace the text area that I have here. Oops, I didn't copy it apparently. So I'm going to copy that line and put it here. Now, what is the difference between these two?
Well, it has a text area tag.
Right. This is a text area tag which is used for a model-less form. That's for a form that doesn't have a model associated with it. But I do have a model associated with it. So I have to change it to look like this. So I'm going to say f.text area, take away the tag, and it only requires the name of the column in the database that I'm going to modify. So it's going to be ingredients instead. And this parameter goes away. That's the content. I'm going to get the content from the actual database itself. And then the big thing is that we're adding a class of TinyMCE to this text area box. That's a standard CSS class. And we're going to set the size of the area of the text box. I'm going to make mine a little smaller and only make it maybe 30 rows by 80 columns wide. No, it goes on this class. All right, so then I need to remove my old one, or I'll have two text area boxes. I don't want that. All right, so let's go back to my page. And then the last thing I have to do is invoke this helper on the page where the text area box is. So all I need is this line of code, and I put it in the same view, and I can put it at the bottom. It doesn't matter where it goes. I just need to invoke this editor, and you'll see what that actually produces when I look at the page source. All right? So let's go back. That's it. I'm done. If I go and look at, let's see, I've got to get into, I have a problem already. But couldn't find the file tinymce-jquery. All right, so let's figure out what happened.
Do you need to restart your server?
I do. I do have to restart my server. Thank you. So let's stop and restart my server. I even have that in my notes, I think. All right, let that come back up again. Come on. Any questions while we're waiting for that so far? You're going to be blown away. This is so cool.
How do you block, since I'm guessing you have to do HTML set, how do you block some tags?
You'd have to do some string searches and replaces.
Why would you want to give the person that's entering this information that much flexibility and stuff? I mean, that's
Why? So the question is, why would I want to give them that much flexibility? The point is, I would only give the administrator that much flexibility in most cases. I'm going to let the administrator design their show page however they want. They can add their image, move it over here, add some more text about it, and that content then, it becomes more like a content management system for the administrator of the site. And a content management system you can also charge more money for. I mean, that's a very useful piece of information, and you turning it over full operation of the website to them. They don't have to call you again and make a change to their website. Very simple change. All right, so this is, oh yeah. So I wouldn't normally give this type of control to a user without a lot of safeguards about what tags they're going to be submitting and things like that. I'm not dealing with reviews. I'm dealing with the product itself right now.
Yeah.
So let's edit, so that text box shouldn't be dealing there. So now when I load my page, look at that. I've got this Wysiwyg Editor built into my text box, and it puts the content of this recipe. Remember, this was all lorem ipsum that we did, but I can edit some of this stuff and make it bold-faced and underline some of this stuff and turn in some lists of things like steps for add flour, add milk, and it makes an ordered list. I can have an unordered list of stuff, stir, bake, eat. All right, so this is all an HTML editor. I can actually look at the code. This is all generated by that JavaScript library for me. I can look at the HTML. This is what is actually going to be sent to the server in this text box. So this is the data that's going to be stored in your database column with the HTML embedded in it. And notice that I've got a strong here. If I added some styles, let's add a style. See if I have any styles here.
Over there's a drop-down box.
Oh, okay. So let's make some. This is cool. We'll make this an H1, and I don't have any CSS styles. So this is cool. It makes this an H1 heading, and if I look at that, it's got H1 around it. So this is actual HTML. Here's a decoration. Here's a style decoration in line about this milk. So it's a cross out, it's a line through style. Now, to make this work, it has to do it in line. There's really no other way to do this. I can't add dynamic styles to my style sheets, and I wouldn't really want to do that. So these things have to be in line. I know that goes against some of your sensibilities, but that's the only way to store very specific information about this text in your table. We want to have that all condensed, and when we display this, everything necessary to display that is in that block of text stored in your database. All right, so we're going to update. I could actually type in some HTML there instead. And when I update this, it's going to save that back to the database column with the actual HTML in it. Look at that. Now, why did it display it as HTML? I must have done something earlier that allowed that to work. So let's go look at the show page of my recipe. Oh, that's...
Maybe it automatically puts on an HTML.
No, your model, yeah, the content gets converted to HTML6.
Yeah, when did I do that?
A long time ago.
I don't remember doing that. Is it in the model?
Yeah.
In the model. Aha. Where did I do that? I must have done it in the controller. Let's see.
It'll be on your show.
Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I didn't see it.
Wouldn't it automatically
No. It doesn't.
consider coming from a safe?
It's not, though. So you have to allow this to be safe. I don't know why that's allowing it, but I would have to do, let's see. Oh, that's the form. Oh, that's why. That's the, here we go. There we go. I did have it.
Yeah.
So to make it safe, I have to actually add the HTML safe on the end of that. Otherwise, it would look like this. I would actually see the HTML that describes that content, which is not what you want, right? All right.
Yeah.
So I need to change that and put the HTML safe in it so that I can see it look nice. You're right. We did that before so that we could add stuff. All right. See how easy that is to add that? If I go to edit, I wanted to show you that source that it added. If I look at the page source, the only thing we changed was that we put a class of tiny MCE on the text area. And then we added that asset tag, tiny MCE assets. And this is what was generated from that one piece of code. This here, where's my form? This method here, tiny MCE, output this code here, this script tag that does this calls the tiny MCE init. And you can add, if you look at the documentation over here, you can add things like take away some of the buttons, you can add more buttons, you can do all kinds of custom configuration on that editor itself. Isn't that cool? You have to put HTML safe, yes.
In that right there, put a script tag, text tag, JavaScript, window.location, put it google.com. Redirect.
Yeah, and it would work. But this is for an administrator. Why would he do that to his own site? That's why you only allow it for an administrator. All right, so that's it. Any other questions?